Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. In today's video, we are talking about something kind of surprising. I wasn't really expecting us to be talking about this in today's video, and I don't think you expected it either, and that is the rise of the Scarlet and Violet era Pokemon cards. I know, right? That sounds so shocking to me. I thought Scarlet and Violet was boring. It just didn't hit the same way that Sword and Shield were. A lot of people were talking about how lackluster Scarlet and Violet sets have been, and I do have my gripes with the Scarlet and Violet sets. I think my biggest concern with them is that some of the pull rates are just really terrible. You crack open an Elite Trainer box and you're unlikely to pull even one single illustration rare, which is just heartbreaking, I think, to a young new collector. They want to be seeing some cool cards and we just aren't seeing that often of them. But in general, it does look like a lot of people are starting to decide what they want to collect from Scarlet and Violet, and I think now is the perfect time to do that. If you haven't started collecting Scarlet and Violet yet, if you haven't really built out any collections with Scarlet and Violet, which makes complete sense because you cracked open a couple booster packs, but you're not really thinking about major cards yet because Scarlet and Violet is so fresh, they're readily available. But if you are starting to do that, I think people are making those decisions where they're picking up the best looking cards right now. And you're seeing the prices on the best looking illustration rares slowly start to climb, or at least what the market thinks is the best looking illustration rare. Cards like the Magic card, cards like the Sleepy Raichu, cards like the Groudon card. All of these illustration rares, which the market is saying, hey, these are the best looking ones, and the market is reflecting that. The Magikarp has doubled in value, the Sleepy Raichu has doubled in value, and a lot of these illustration rares are climbing quite a bit. I mean, the Raichu and the Groudon are going for right around $40, and a lot of other illustration rares are slowly starting to climb up as well. So the market's already starting to decide, okay, this era is here to stay. We're going to see a lot more Scarlet and Violet. If we were to pick out the best cards from this era, what cards were those going to be? And those are starting to climb in value. Same with the special illustration rare EX cards from Temporal Forces, from Paldea Evolved. The best looking special illustration rares are trickling to the very top. So I'm really excited about this. It shows that there are still a bunch of really good artworks inside of this era. And collectors, the general consensus of what is the best looking card is climbing up in value. So there are a lot of actually really nice singles from this era. If you're not cracking open a ton of booster boxes, which is completely fair, because I would say the pack opening experience with Scarlet and Violet is probably my biggest gripe. Some sets, like I think Scarlet and Violet base, actually had a really good pull rate, but it tanked the value on a lot of those cards, which is why Scarlet and Violet base set, the most expensive card is $30. So maybe the Pokemon company saw that and ramped up some of the pull rates, making it a little bit more challenging. And so now if you crack open 3 booster box, you might find maybe 1 special illustration rares. So those special illustration rares are maintaining high values, but I don't think that's a good thing to hurt for the detriment of the pull rate. So that's my biggest gripe with Scarlet and Violet. But if you are just looking at it from a whole entire era perspective, I am actually very optimistic on Scarlet and Violet. The first 6 sets of Scarlet and Violet are better than the first 6 sets of Sword and Shield, and they're better than the first 6 sets of Sun and Moon, and they're better than the first 6 sets of X and Y. I would say that Scarlet and Violet has had the best looking start, the most phenomenal start to the series of any of the previous era. And I'm really excited for the next 6 sets of Scarlet and Violet because it looks like the Pokemon company are definitely cooking. They're definitely doing a lot of really amazing ideas. They're doing better texturing, better artwork, better holo patterns. We're seeing that in just the promo cards for the upcoming special sets. So we're clearly seeing that they're going into that direction of better looking art. And it's gonna catch on fire. I absolutely believe that the next 6 sets of Scarlet and Violet are gonna be some of the biggest bangers we're gonna see in the hobby for quite a while. And it just might blow Sword and Shield out of the water. That's the thing, we can't predict the future. Right now, my favorite set, Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith, ton of fun to crack open, bunch of really cool looking art. So clear favorite for me. And of course, Crown Zenith, super cheap and affordable. You can find booster packs of Crown Zenith readily available right now for below retail price, which is great, fantastic set. However, Crown Zenith may not be my favorite set in the next year or two if the Scarlet and Violet era continues to improve with better looking artwork, cooler looking chase cards, and just phenomenal artwork, it's just going to go into a direction where I do think Scarlet and Violet could absolutely outcompete Sword and Shield. That's what we're seeing here, is that I think Sun and Moon was a better iteration of X and Y. Sun and Moon for trainer cards look way better than X and Y ever did, and of course Sun and Moon introduced us to alt art cards. And Sword and Shield really refined a lot of that, and Scarlet and Violet were going even further with even crazier looking illustration rares, better looking chases, and eventually we're going to reach a point where Scarlet and Violet, the next 6 sets specifically, could completely blow the water out of Sword and Shield. So people are already starting to move in that direction. Obviously, right now, the general consensus is that Scarlet and Violet is weaker than Sword and Shield, but as time goes by, people are going to start getting nostalgia goggles. They're going to go through rose-tinted glasses. They're going to see Scarlet and Violet as better than what they think of it right now. In 5 years, people are probably going to look very fondly back at Scarlet and Violet. So we're seeing that in the market. The best looking illustration rares are rising to the top. So if you haven't picked up some of these illustration rares yet, that's completely fair because Scarlet and Violet seem so fresh. But I think this is going to be my first reminder for you to be on the lookout for Scarlet and Violet. These cards are not going anywhere. And I'm not telling you to FOMO and pick up these cards, but if there are cards from Scarlet and Violet base, cards from Paldea Evolve, cards from all of these earlier Scarlet and Violet sets that you are excited about and you would like to get into your collection, you may want to start thinking about picking them up because they will eventually climb. The market's already saying that some of these cards are climbing. So if you really want a sleepy Raichu inside your collection and you haven't picked one up yet, prices are already doubling and tripling well before I ever talked about it. So it does look like the market trend is saying, hey, we know what the best looking illustration rares are, and they're starting to climb. So if you have some favorites from Scarlet and Violet, now may be a good time to start at least thinking about the era. If you don't have a booster box from Scarlet and Violet base, Paldea Evolve, Paradox Rift, any of these sets, and you weren't able to pick them up, if you can find them for below $100, that's a fantastic deal any day of the week. There would be no issue with any of that. So that's where I have mine. I have a booster box from every single set for below $100. So I'm happy with that. Regardless whether these prices go up and down, no big deal. I'll have something inside of my collection from them. And I will start thinking about picking up some Scarlet and Violet era cards. Pretty much anything from Scarlet and Violet I have right now is because I pulled them from a booster pack. If I didn't pull them from a booster pack, I really don't have any singles from Scarlet and Violet. But I'm starting to look on the market and pick out some of the cards from my collection that I truly want. If there's a card from any of these eras that I truly want, like the Iono illustration rare, like the Gardevoir illustration rare set, like some of the earlier special illustration rares, I'm going to start picking those up now. Right now would be a good time because honestly, that's my rule, is when a set reaches around 2 years old, that's usually a good time for you to start picking up because there's going to be less and less sealed products. And that's when collectors start scooping up the products, as we're seeing with Sword and Shield. So I'm not saying that Scarlet and Violet is going to explode in value in the next 6 months, but now is a good starting point to say, oh yeah, Scarlet and Violet exists, we're going to get better looking cards. I should start at least thinking about what cards I want from this era. So let me know what your thoughts are. Am I correct on this? If you think Scarlet and Violet has the potential of beating Sword and Shield, that's at least where my mind's at, especially for the next 6 sets, because it looks like the illustration rares are only going to get better and better. And I do think the next big thing is going to be shiny special illustration rares, and those are going to be incredibly popular. We're already seeing a couple of shiny special illustration rares, but I think we're going to see a lot more, and that's where things are headed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Welcome to the hobby, flipping cards like magic, unpacking the treasure, moments so classic, chasing that Pikachu, shiny dreams come true, all the secrets unfold, each rare card we hold.